Hi everyone, how are you guys tonight? You guys, we are live here on the Brushed by Brandy Facebook and Instagram pages, and my name is Brandy. I'm the owner and artist behind Brushed by Brandy, and we paint live every Thursday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern, so we're going to do some painting tonight.
Roughly.
Yeah, 9, 10.
We like the number starts with the 9.
Yeah, tonight record a little more prep than usual. And you'll see why in just a few minutes. We are actually going to do some spraying tonight. You guys, my husband Sean is here behind the camera. My husband Sean with Sprayed by Sean. Yes, that is a real page.
It's almost inactive. Well, kind of is.
It has zero activity on it, but it is a page that exists.
It's like a timeline from a year ago.
The reason he has that page is because Sean actually sprays more than I do. So I have our talents differ. Sean has more of a technical talent and my talent is more artistic. So, you know, when it comes to spraying, he does a great job. It's something he can help me out with where I can, you know, I brush my furniture usually because it's multicolored finishes, and then I spray all my clear coats. I would say probably, what, I don't know, 85% of my clear coats. Because there are sometimes I get impatient and I'll just go ahead and sponge it on. Or if I want to use a wax, I'll put a wax on myself. But other than that, Sean sprays most of my clear coats for me. And a sprayer is going to give the most professional quality finish.
Spray camping. Yes.
We're glamping. Spramping. Yeah.
That's not going on my page.
Yeah. No. Okay, so I'm going to go through a whole bunch of stuff. There's going to be a lot of talking tonight, but we are actually going to spray, and we'll go through the gun and everything like that too. So I live on 5 acres, and usually when we spray outside because I have plenty of room. It's easier to just wait for the right time of day because temperature does matter. So you want to make sure you're not spraying in the hottest part of your day. It's such a fine mist when you're laying it on that if it's so hot, your paint will actually dry in the air before it gets onto your piece, and it will create a texture.
Or if the sun is baking your piece and then you go spray it, the piece is already hot and it creates a problem. Yeah. They have a moon effect.
So you get an idea for what the best times of day are on your property to spray. For us, it's in the morning. If the weather's just not going to cooperate, then we'll just pull it inside into the garage. I actually very rarely spray in a tent, but I wanted to show you guys options for spraying with a tent.
And then we go camping in this tent too?
No, I actually do have one like this for soccer games for my kids though. So this I actually got off of Amazon. And the reason I chose this tent was I looked for dimensions, and I like that it has this area on the floor here, and Sean's gonna show you guys in just a second. But it opens up onto the floor so I can pull my piece out and protect the floor. I don't care about the floor in here, so you guys see no reason to protect it.
That's so weird. I've seen the carpet in here.
Yeah. Okay, so it has a wide area. It actually is tall enough that I can go inside here pretty comfortably. It's good for small pieces like this. For like a 12-drawer dresser, this is not going to work. But the same goes for any kind of spray tent that you get. Like what Wagner, it's a paint sprayer brand, makes a spray tent. The reason I didn't get the Wagner one is because it has poles. And I didn't want to literally be like putting a tent up every time I wanted to spray. This one, it's one of those tents that folds up like a windshield cover. And I can just fold it up, it goes in the bag. And
see, there you go, Donna. Donna's got a 10x10 easy up that she throws in the garage.
Yes.
That's weird. I think I painted something with one of those.
Yep. Easy Up is a great option. So Easy Ups are, has the 4 poles on each side, and you just pop it up. And then you can even buy like zip-on liners for the sides, and it will form a full tent. We have one of those too. We just usually don't use it because we have the space to not. So there's lots of options. It depends on how often you're going to be spraying, what size pieces are you going to be spraying, what is the easiest option for you. I don't have a permanent spray booth set up in my house.
I hope not in the house.
Yeah, well, I mean,
sorry,
even in our workshop or in our garage or anything, we don't have a permanent spray booth set up because I wouldn't use it often enough. If you do high gloss pieces, gloss is very important to get right with your spraying. So those are just a couple prep things to consider. I got this one off Amazon. It works fine for what I need. I rarely use it, so it's going to work for us tonight.
Yeah, I think no matter what the tent, it's It's got to be something that's easy to put up, easy to take down.
Yeah,
Because
otherwise
otherwise,
you're not
it's
gonna
like
do it.
it's like going to the gym.
Yeah,
It's a good idea, but I don't really want to go because it's such a pain, and that's kind of what's going to happen.
And weather is a big issue. You know, we live in California, so spraying outdoors is not always ideal for everybody. If you have wind, you cannot spray in the wind because it's going to stir up everything that's outside. So you really have to be aware. So sometimes when Sean does my clear coats, he'll take it outside, spray for, 10 or 15 minutes and roll it right back inside. It doesn't sit out there while it's drying, because that's when you're going to get the gnats that fly into it and some dust from your tree. And
Well, that's what I was going to mention. The morning is probably the best for us. Obviously, is the best, because evening, then if you go to spray, even though it's got cooler temps, the problem is you get all the bugs that start coming around, and then everything lands in your clear coat and paint. That's always fun.
Okay, so let's talk about products. Every paint that you use has a different consistency, and you will slowly learn the consistency of the product that you need to get to spray with. We are going to be spraying Wise Owl 1 Hour Enamel.
I love how, sorry to interrupt you, that's what I do. I love how people spot your nail color.
Oh yeah, I did my nails so much for that.
The hands are moving all around,
but get all ruined tonight. We are spraying Wise Owl 1 Hour Enamel today. And can you actually grab me another one of these cups, because I want to mix in one and then I'll strain into the other. And I'm going to mix my own custom color. So you guys are going to watch me mix my color here. And I want to mix, I have 2 of these that I want to do in the same color. So I want to mix about a quart. Okay, so I have 3 colors out. The colors that I have are Wise Owl Botanical, which is this rich green. Sort of a rich pure green, and I want it to be a shade of green, but I actually want to darken this, and I want to add a little bit of blue to it. So Botanical. I have Refurbished Gentleman, will be that little bit of blue that I want to add, and then I have black, which is what I'm going to use to darken it.
Ooh, Sandy says that there's always wind up there in upstate New York. I'm gonna have to put in a request with the man upstairs.
Yeah,
I'll take care of that for you.
Everybody's circumstances differ. Let's see, how can I do this? Because I want to make sure that let me pay attention to my measurements here, which I rarely do. All right. I want to mix about a quart, that's why. I don't think I need all of this Botanical. So I'm going to start off with most of my Botanical. That's about 3/4 of my quart is Botanical. I do not measure when I mix custom colors. That's why I always make sure to over mix my custom colors, because there's no going back. So I added a little bit of Refurbished Gentleman, and then I'm going to add my black. I've not mixed this color before, so I'm just winging it here. If I mess up, you guys are going to see it right here on camera. No pressure, right? No pressure.
Let's do this. Let's mix it.
Okay, I really like the color actually that I just got.
Of course.
So what that did is let me show you this next to the pure Botanical. Okay, it darkened it and it added a little bit of blue. I might put a little tiny bit more blue in there. It's kind of what I'm thinking. Although I don't know, I really like this color. It's really pretty. It's kind of a deep emerald green. I don't want it to turn fully teal. I just want it to have some blue undertones. But I also want to make sure that I have enough paint to get through both of my pieces. So that's why I want to mix a full quart. I don't think I'll necessarily need a full quart, but I'd rather have too much than not enough.
Oh man, I can't, sorry, it's what I do, right? Interrupt you. I can't recommend enough that if you're in the windy places, upstate New York or Texas, someone mentioned, you get the dirt in the air too.
Yeah.
Easy Ups, I forget where I got ours, it was years ago, with zipper sides. That way everything is encapsulated.
Ours is Ozark brand, which is Walmart.
Oh, that's right.
It's Walmart. I know this because we just took it to the river recently, and we
put
it
where
up,
it was like kind of half
it was
blank.
like broken.
Yeah.
So we need a new.
You remember what I painted with that thing?
Yes, I do remember.
Okay.
Okay, so I have a little less than a quart here. Should I mix more? Think I'm safe enough? Mix more.
It's a quart, you say?
This is a little less. A quart, I would need to go
probably a little more.
A little bit more.
Just to make sure that you have.
I really like
You're
my
gonna
mix.
kick yourself if you don't.
I know. I really like my mix, but I don't want to run short on paint either. I'm gonna end up using all this Botanical.
And if not, you can just find another piece to.
Yeah,
color.
I do really like this color actually. It's really pretty.
Well, now it's different and I don't really like it.
So my 3 colors are Botanical, which is the green, black, and then Refurbished Gentleman, which is a blue. I am not measuring, I just know that I want to have at least a quart of paint to make sure that I have enough to spray these 2 chests. They are pretty big. We're going to do the fronts of them tonight. And I'm just eyeballing my mixture, but I want to make sure that I have extra paint. I want to make sure that I stir it up really well.
See, there you go. 6-person tent converted to a poly tent.
Yes,
there we go.
Especially
any kind of resin. Like it takes so long.
Resin is another one. Resin's hard. I pour resin in my garage, and I do still, even indoors, I try to cover it if I can, but I still get gnats and a piece of hair and everything every once in a while. So even in the most ideal circumstances, you sometimes will still get those little like things that just make you shake your head a little bit.
Do you always spray when you're doing a solid color?
No, I don't actually. So one thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was these are primed, and on these I used Wisal primer in light gray. I brushed my primer. Spraying, I do not think saves any amount of time whatsoever. It does not save you time. The only thing you're doing is you're trading out prepping your paint, loading your gun, and cleaning your gun in exchange for brushing, the time that it takes to brush. It's the same amount of time, it's just how do you want to spend it, okay? I'm pretty confident in brushing a coat of primer or paint on that I can get a coat that looks like it was sprayed without brush strokes in it. So if it's just like these, I brushed the primer on because I had 2 chests that I needed to do. I was weighing, do I want to get the gun out, prep my space, clean my gun out, all that stuff in exchange, or do I just brush the primer on? So I chose to brush my primer on. It's really personal preference. I actually like brushing a coat of paint on. I think it's relaxing. I like doing it. It just really depends on what do you prefer. What do I always spray? I always like to spray metallics because metallics are light reflective. They have mica powder in the paint. It will pick up every flaw that you have in your paint. So I like to spray metallics. If I'm doing a solid single color finish, which I can't even remember the last time I did a solid single color finish, I would spray those. Clear coats and high gloss finishes, you have to spray a high gloss finish because again, it's light reflective, it's got that high gloss in it, it's going to show every single flaw. So those are what I like to spray. Metallics, clear coats, solid single colors, and high gloss finishes. I don't do a lot of high gloss. I actually got a message about one today and I said, nope, not my thing because of that reason. Okay, you want to strain your paint. Even though this looks totally smooth coming out of the container, if there are little bits of whatever in your paint, your gun is going to find it. So this is just a paper strainer. You can get these at the hardware store. And I'm going to let it run through the strainer before I fill my gun with it. I'm actually using tonight, I'm going to use my Apollo sprayer. This is the gun we're going to put it in. And
has that ever been used?
A little bit.
Doesn't look like it's ever been used.
Actually, the turbine never has been used.
Oh, that's true.
Do you want to bring the turbine over here so I can show what that looks like?
Yes, ma'am.
The turbine is the engine. So I actually have 3 sprayers. I do have a video on my YouTube channel that shows all 3 of my sprayers and how they're different. We're just going to use one of them tonight, but the basic rule of thumb when you're looking at sprayers is you get what you pay for. With sprayers, you're going to get what you pay for. So this is an Apollo sprayer. This is the turbine, which is the engine. This is what's going to power it, okay? So pretty much all it is this turbine, it's the gun, and a hose. That's all the pieces for this sprayer. The other sprayers I have a Wagner home decor sprayer. It's not great. It's about $100 sprayer. It's great if you want to just get a feel for spraying. It's like getting a bike with training wheels on it. The quality of it of a $100 sprayer will never be the same as the quality of a $500, $800 sprayer. So that's another option is is my Wagner. I don't think I ever use that. It really just sits in the box. And then I have a pneumatic sprayer. And what that is it's a gun. And the guns are fairly inexpensive, but you have to hook it to a pretty high power compressor. And we have, what's our compressor? 22 gallons? 25 gallons? Anyway.
No, it's like a 55.
It's a pretty large compressor. 55, sorry. So these, you have to have a pretty large compressor, and they're not portable like the Apollo is that I'm going to use tonight. So if you're using a pneumatic system, the results are great, the guns are cheap, but you gotta use a compressor with them, and the compressor is big, it's loud, it's not portable. Okay, so I'm gonna actually pass this to Sean to let him finish straining my paint, and I'm gonna go ahead and load this gun. All right, so the Apollo sprayer, these are available from Weisel. Apollo put together a package with Weisel that is specifically made for spraying their products. So spraying the 1 hour enamel is a really popular way to apply it. A lot of people use this for kitchens. So even though I'm using it on a dresser tonight, this is a really popular option for kitchens. 1 hour enamel is a really nice consistency to spray. If you're brushing 1 hour enamel, it's a thinner consistency. So you want to brush really thin, even coats. And when you first put it on, can you want to grab me a brush? Grab me one of my Klingon brushes. I'm just going to show you guys what it looks like brushed on.
This one okay?
That's fine. So I'm just going to show you guys. I'm just going to brush a spot on this dresser. It's a pretty thin consistency. It's not as thick as the chalk paint, but that means it sprays really well. I'm not even going to dilute it.
I have no comment for that one, Sandy. Big, loud, not portable. Sounds
Yeah.
like my ex-mother-in-law.
Yeah. Yeah. No comment. No comment. No comment. That's all I'm going to say. No comment. Okay, so when you brush on 1 hour enamel, I'm going to show you guys this. You will probably end up with this streakiness in it in your first coat. It resolves in your second coat, but your first coat brushing 1 hour enamel is not going to look great because you want to brush it nice, thin, even coats. Okay, I'm going to try to get this nice and smooth because I do want to spray over the top of it. So you're going to end up with really light coverage. Your color's not going to be true on your first coat. It's going to be a little bit scary if you choose to brush this on. It also goes on really nice with a roller. I use just a flocked roller, and you can roll 1 hour enamel on too. That's probably enough for me to spray tonight.
That's plenty.
Okay.
Strain.
So always strain your paint. I'm going to set this aside. This is my original mixture, and in here now I have, this is fully strained. Okay, so any little chunks, lumps, bumps that would have been in my already open paint will be out of it now. One difference between my Apollo and the one that you get from Weisel, which actually makes me really mad now that I know, theirs is actually better. It's actually
What?
better, yeah.
Camera's off. We're done.
I have a plastic container. Theirs comes with a metal container. They have a plastic.
We're using a milk jug.
And a metal option. I would get the metal. I wish I didn't have the plastic option, but this is what I've got. I don't know. I'm upset about it.
That's it. Now that I know these things.
Okay, the gun is pretty simple. It's got this tip here, which I think when we're done, I'm going to try to make sure we have enough time at the end to go ahead and walk through cleaning the gun out. I wanted to show you guys that too. But the tip that comes off, this is where we're going to connect to our hose. And there's different connections on these. I actually just did one that had a screw on. Mine, I just pull back this little coupler here,
Move these.
insert that edge, and now my hose is connected. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and pour this paint into this little container. I'm not going to spill it.
Just about half to 3/4 full. That way you have mobility. That's good. Yeah. Perfect.
Okay, and then this is just going to screw in. The paint doesn't get into the hose at all. So when I clean this, the only part that I'm going to be cleaning is this gun here. So when I go to take this over to the sink, I can take this hose off and I'll leave that behind. Thank you, because I probably would have stepped in that.
That's why I do these
I'll
things.
take this behind and leave this behind, and then they do make lids for these so you can store your paint still in the container. And then all I need to clean out is this gun section here. I only spray water-based products. You can spray oil-based like primers and things, but I find that even when you clean your gun out with ammonia, it still tends to gum up faster when you're spraying oil-based products. So I just keep mine to water-based only. I don't really use anything that's oil-based anymore. I like water-based options. So that's just a tip. If you're spraying like bin shellac-based primer, you have to clean your gun out with ammonia afterwards. And when you're using a nice sprayer, I just like to keep it to the water-based products. I don't even like to chance it. Thank you. Okay, if you're just getting used to spraying, start out with water in your gun. You'll fill your gun up with water instead of paint and just practice getting the motion, how you move your gun, the pressure that you put on the handle, what it looks like coming out, the different ways you can turn your nozzle. Get a feel for that using just water. When you first get your spray gun, feel it out with water. The other thing I recommend when you're just starting spraying is get junky, cheap paint and put it on something.
Yeah, the only trick, there's two tricks to it. If you're going to just play around, don't make it expensive.
Yes.
Number one, strain it. Number two, clean everything. And then it doesn't matter.
But I saved my nice products, so my Wisal products, for when I felt like I was confident enough to start spraying. Before that was just, I don't know.
Sherry's down in Vacaville. Huh. What size would you say that container is?
Oh, it actually has markings on it. This is
like a postage stamp.
250 milliliters. It's really small.
So because I'm American and we don't go by the metric system.
Milliliters.
Yeah.
It's this is what, probably 12 ounces. Something in there. Yeah, sound good.
I did. From here, it sounds good.
Somebody look up that conversion on Google it. Google it. 250 milliliters.
I want it. You got 5 seconds.
It's small. Mine is small. Like I said, the one that you get, I put a link above in my post on Facebook to Wisal, and it's called the Stingray sprayer on their website. It's from Apollo. The Stingray refers to the turbine that it's attached to. Okay, that's the engine, and Apollo has different models of the engine, and Stingray refers to it's their Stingray model. Yeah, you want to wear a mask. I'm probably going to not wear a mask so that I can talk to you guys.
I'll hold it.
Or, you know what, why don't you grab me one of my masks that's up there? Because those go on easier. Okay, so when I say mask, I don't mean your paper mask that you have in your purse that you've been wearing to Target for the last year. Don't wear that for spraying. It's not going to keep it out. You want a full respirator. So this is a 3M respirator. You can buy new filters for it. These filters on the sides come off and can be replaced.
It's Sean's favorite.
Yeah, I'm going to not wear it because I want to talk to you guys while I'm spraying, and it's hard to get on and off. I'm going to just put on, this is an RZ mask, which is, it's better than nothing, but it goes on and off a lot faster.
So really the other one's my favorite, just for all the mom and dad jokes out there, mainly dad jokes. I like to put it on and talk to my kids like Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And then everybody rolls their eyes and gets embarrassed.
Keeps
so
walking.
I like to do that in the drop-off aisle.
Okay, so the turbine on this has a super easy on-off switch. So when I have Sean turn it on, it's gonna be pretty loud.
There we go. There's some conversions. 250 milliliters is about 8 ounces.
Oh, I
plus a little.
Yeah, I overestimated.
Barbara says it's 8 ounces.
All right, we'll call that 8 ounces. It's really small. I wish mine was bigger. I really have sprayer envy from the bigger model now, but this is what I have. Maybe I could just buy the container. Container. That's what I should do.
Yeah, you don't buy the whole. Yeah, just buy the container.
All right. Do you want to turn the turbine on?
No, not really.
Okay, it's gonna get loud, but I'm still gonna try to talk over it. So, yeah.
Ready?
Yeah. Okay, so that's the turbine. It's across the room. It gets a little loud, but I can feel it's just air coming through the hose right now. I'm going to practice on the cardboard before I go on to my piece.
And I'd say the hose gives you about probably 20 feet, roughly. Keep going. There you go. Now you can adjust your spray so that's really light. back it out a little at a time to kind of see where you want.
Okay, so the two controls on here. Is this nozzle, you can turn it. I have it horizontal, which means my spray is going to be vertical, which if I'm going side to side, I want to have a vertical stand. This, by backing it out, will give me more pressure or less pressure, depending on how thick my spray is coming out. It's really light, I need more pressure. Okay, so you can see how you can just play with the gun until, no, because I'm going to actually spray a door.
Okay.
Until you get the spray that you want, but practicing on that piece of cardboard, and I get this nice fine mist of a spray.
And another thing to just remember is that when you're doing it, don't assume you're going to get one coat coverage. It is perfectly okay to always go back. There you go. Yep. It's like someone's vacuuming in here. I guess that would be me vacuuming. And you are painting the top, that's why you primed it, right? The
Yes.
top will, just not right now, but yeah.
It's starting to get into the air, you guys. I'm going to put the mask on.
You have plenty of hose. So you don't necessarily have to let it dry. It's easier to, as you're spraying, to let it all, I'm sorry, I'm catching these questions as they go. Because while you're laying it and the paint's wet, it's much easier for it to conform. If you let it dry, and when it's in blotches or whatnot, it just gets harder than when, depending on the paint that you're using, coloring and stuff like that. Like metallics are very, very picky. You cannot go back and forth over. Solid colors are much easier to learn on.
Okay, I wanted to talk to you while I was doing that, but it was too hard. The turbine's too loud, and I got to take the mask on and off, so you can see why it's really hard to spray on camera. But a couple tips. When you're moving your gun across, you don't want to stop in the middle of the piece. And I did a couple times because I was still adjusting my spray. It still was pretty light. But you want to stop all the way on the one edge of your piece, and you want to go until you get all the way to the other edge of your piece. Do not stop in between. And if you stop, make sure you're off the edge of your piece when you stop. The Apollo is a really nice machine because the overspray on it is so minimal. Of my 3 sprayers, the Apollo has the least amount of overspray. That means that I have a pretty small mess left by the paint. It also means I'm not wasting paint by putting it into the air. So that's a huge feature that I love about the Apollo sprayer. I did spray with these drawers in the body because it was near impossible for me to find a view that I could show you guys spraying and taking the drawers out. Normally, these have a lip that goes around the body of the piece. Normally, I would either tape the drawer off or I use the body of the piece to hold it, and then I'm going to come back and take them back out and spray them around the frame.
And now there's the answer to that last question, is how are you going to spray the body where the drawers close?
Yes.
You basically just back the drawers out.
I'm going to pull the drawers out. The mist of paint is so thin that it really doesn't leave much of a line at all. If it does, you can sand it a little bit. I wouldn't normally paint my drawers like this, but I wanted to find a view where I could show you guys spraying across the front of it and holding those drawers upright. If I've got my drawers down at an angle, it's really hard for you guys to see that on camera. So I'm using the body of the piece to hold that. In this case, it's probably not the most correct way to spray overlapping drawers like that. It is what it is. Okay, so you want to make sure you don't stop in the middle of your piece. You want to overlap. So if your spray is about this wide, when you come down, you're not going to come down all the way. You're going to slightly overlap about 50% of your spray when you go. So you'll do a pass and then overlap it about halfway. And that ends up giving you about 2 coats of coverage. My coverage on this is really good, but I am going to need to do a second coat. 1 hour enamel dries to the touch in 1 to 2 hours and fully cured in 4 hours. So it's really popular for kitchens because it puts them back in service really quickly. So I will let this dry to the touch, and then I can come back and spray this, and all in the same day I can get my 2 coats of full coverage on this and have the piece fully sprayed. But I wanted to show you guys how to clean the gun out. So I'm going to take you guys over to my sink, and we'll spend the next few minutes just go ahead and cleaning this gun out. Sean's going to go mobile with me.
So go ahead, sorry.
So all I'm going to do is I just detach the coupler. This stuff all stays behind. This is all I have to take over to my sink to clean it. So
Now, the venture over to the sink is a no judgment zone, just so you know.
Well, I mean, try to keep it clean, but this is my garage, and we do park in here, and it also is my workshop. So.
Now, I'm working backwards only because I stepped away. Sorry, you keep looking up because I'm up there. Sandy had asked earlier as far as how you keep it from dripping. And the trick is you just, thin coats are the best.
Yes, the
thin
coats are so thin that it dries so quickly once you put it on there.
Did you already pour out what you have in there?
No, I didn't. It's still full. So I'll take it
it's
over
here.
to the sink. Okay, so we are going to go mobile. I'm going to take my strained paint, and I'm also going to take this brush I used to wash that out. We're going to go over to my brush.
And just real quick, hi Sheila. I saw that you were on there, but I've been bouncing around, so I apologize. She broke her mom out of rehab, I think she said?
That's what I was going to say. I hope your mom is doing good.
Doo-doo. Okay.
Okay, so this is my brush cleaning station. It is in my garage. It is a sink in my garage. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my container of paint off.
Oh, I don't know whoever built that cabinet, but they are genius.
And I'm going to put it back into, are you going to spray more tonight?
No, you're fine. Just clean it the way you're going to clean it.
Okay.
Give the people what they want.
I'm going to restrain this.
Now, sorry, but Sheila had also asked, I'm going from memory here, bouncing around. I think she asked what color it was, and I'm not sure if somebody answered, but it's a mixture of...
This is Wiesel 1 hour enamel, and I mixed 3 colors. Botanical, which is a green. Refurbished Gentleman, which is a deep blue. Oh, I left that tool over there.
Oh, you are a tool.
And black. Hang on one sec.
Okay. We have story time?
You're going to have to tell
No,
me.
I got no stories.
I got to find it. Where's the tool at?
I got nothing.
I have it.
The tool is looking for the tool. I don't think I have any stories this time.
Okay. So I told you guys that spraying, it comes down to cleaning your gun. So this is what you spend the time on instead of brushing. So the nozzle of this is going to come off. And these are all metal parts. When you buy inexpensive sprayers, you find that these are all plastic parts and they don't last. So you want to make sure that you clean your nozzle out just using a brush. So I'll just take a nylon brush, and I want to make sure that I don't leave any paint on the nozzle.
Sweet counter, Sean. Yes. You like that?
Hey,
When I built it, it was a cabinet we got off of Craigslist or something.
yeah.
Well, everything was off of Craigslist or some
But I found
market.
this counter and I like it because it's all an integrated sink and it's all stainless steel. So it looks like garbage.
I mean, I'm not really up to code here.
But when I clean it, it's all stainless, so it does clean up really nicely. That's why I chose this this sink. And then
Now, do you know the model of the Apollo sprayer by chance?
so the one that I put the link to is the Stingray.
Okay.
Mine is actually the Falcon.
I'm very disappointed just because then the Stingray has the bigger container.
The Stingray is actually a nicer model than what I have. I'm working with the Falcon, and that's because I had my sprayer I've had the sprayer
a long time.
for a couple years. Okay, so I take this off. These are all metal parts. Make sure that my nozzle is nice and clean, and those come off. There's minimal paint on those. The tip of my gun here, when you get your Apollo, it actually has this, and this is going to loosen the tip of this gun.
I think that tool is like a universal tool.
It
came with one.
Comes with the sprayer.
Yeah.
I don't want to point it at my face because it's probably going to pop like a bunch
If you
of
pull the
paint.
trigger and then, yeah, there you,
Did you
Yep.
tighten this?
I did. Did I too?
Yeah, tighten. I can't believe it.
Do I need to mansplain it?
That would, it's too tight. I can't loosen it.
Okay.
All right, come
Okay.
on.
Oh, now we're gonna switch. Switch.
Come
I'm gonna set these down.
Sean put the guy together and he tightened
It's totally
it.
looking at your crotch, by the way. That's cool.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
Enjoy, people. Just
Hello. Okay. You good?
Alright, sounds
Now there's a big mess everywhere.
because I couldn't get it off.
Okay, we're good?
Yeah,
I just don't remember which one you were using.
you'll figure it out. The one that fits is the one that I was using. Okay,
Genius.
there. Okay.
Okay, now
Now come back
that's
and do
it?
this.
No,
You're
yeah.
stealing my thunder. Marilyn, this is the Apollo.
That's who was asking, yes.
And the model that I have is the Falcon. That just refers to the turbine.
Like the Falconer?
Yeah. Okay, so now that you loosen that with the tool, this little tip will come off. If you pull the handle back, it takes some of the pressure off and it unscrews really easily.
And you watch out because you're just going to start
This
making
is
a
how
mess.
much paint I have to clean off of there, though. Can you guys see? It's very minimal, but these pieces are really, really important. You can replace just the tips of your...
What?
I was just waiting.
No. Sheila's probably not paying attention. No big deal. So what do you replace?
There are different size tips for the Apollo.
What sizes?
Geez, I don't know. I have to find them.
Big, medium, small?
No, they're like in millimeter sizes. Okay, and it comes also with a cleaning kit that's got one of these brushes. We've all seen these. I'm just going to use this to get inside. So when you get the Apollo, it has a cleaning kit. It has the tool with it that takes the nozzle off. But these pieces are extremely important. And because they're metal, it makes them even easier to keep them.
Sheila, you were letting me down because there's no HR rep here.
Nope,
We have no moderator. What can be changed on this?
just the tip.
Okay, just checking.
Just that's the important part.
Yeah, no? Okay. Carry on.
Okay, from here I can run water through my gun. When I run the water through, it's going to come out the hose because my gun is opened up now. Can you see that?
And you can take the hose off too. I mean, it
But
really.
I just wanted to show the connectivity that now.
But what's funny is you better remember how this stuff goes together.
Well, it's only 4 pieces that I've taken.
No, I
off.
mean, you can completely take apart the gun. You don't need to. Everything on that can be replaced.
Okay,
Not a
so
big
I'm
deal.
going to clean out
There we
around
go,
here. And I'm just going to, this is just a nylon brush.
Now the enamel was water-based.
It's a water-based paint, so it just cleans up with soap and water. Okay, I'm going to clean out the hose just using my brush.
There's not a gun out there where it's like 2 seconds and it's clean.
No, there's not.
It's-
You got to.
And there's always a little bit of something somewhere. I would also, just throwing this out there, if you're going to do a lot of spraying or a lot of sitting and going back and forth, I would just recommend, out of being keeping the cleanliness up is just wash it out every so often, even though you're using the same thing, just to avoid spray issues, clogging, stuff like that.
So that's pretty much all I would do for washing this gun out. I wash it, I let the water run through until it runs clear.
River runs through it?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so I used my cleaning brush in the tube. Okay, as far up as I can go, and then I also use it around here.
So Wendy, as far as the drawers, we're just gonna, now the faces of them have been sprayed.
My cabinet?
No, on that one. So
Yeah.
you're gonna basically just remove that, and then you're gonna spray the body. So you don't have to worry about spray getting inside of the drawer.
The other option is to take this stuff here.
Oh. Apparently Sheila's awake. She's got...
I can wrap the drawers in plastic like I did here. I'm also painting my sink base. That's another project I'm working on. So the other option is to wrap it in plastic, but I needed the drawers to hold it so that I could show you guys on camera tonight. Okay, the other thing I try to do is when I'm spraying, I will try to spray, like if I'm spraying clear coat, I try to do as much as possible all at once. So if I've got one piece that's ready and I know I'm gonna have another one ready the next day and another one the day after that, I'll wait and spray them all at one time. Minimal paint gets wasted on the clean out, but some does get wasted, so I try to not clean it out more than I need to. And I'll spray all at one time as long as I can spray one product. So even if you're spraying primer, spray as many pieces as you can at one time, then you're not gonna lose your product.
Did you already, sorry to interrupt, did you go over the waste factors?
It's pretty minimal with the Apollo.
The Apollo is, that's where I'm really impressed.
The reason the Apollo stands out is because the overspray on it is so minimal. When you're spraying, you always will use more product than when you're brushing. I don't think there's any way around that. But I would say with the Apollo, it's as close as it could possibly get to brushing because you have that minimal overspray. Cheap paint sprayers, you get tons of overspray and you're gonna lose half your paint into the air.
Okay, Q&A real quick, couple of them. One, no cleaning solution?
I don't, because I find even stuff like Dawn dish soap, if you have residue from it, it gets crusty. Yep. So I use as much water alone as possible.
And then as far as thinning the paint, I'm just going to start rapid fire. Thinning the paint. Do you have to thin it?
Every paint is different. 1 Hour Enamel sprayed beautifully just by adjusting the pressure on my gun. I did not dilute that one, but if I'm spraying chalk paints almost always need to be diluted anywhere from 10 to 20%. You'll figure out the product that you're using, how much dilution you need. You want it to be the consistency of not water, but not as thick as paint either. How would you explain the
just because I've done it for such a long time.
Yeah, I mean, you can use viscosity cups, which
Now, another thing,
viscosity cup.
And Donna's question is how long can you leave paint in the sprayer if you got to keep going back and forth? Now, just so you know, it's a closed system.
Think of how long that product dries. So let's look at...
So the container is fine. It's the nozzle that you would have to pop off because that's where the air gets to and dries.
This here, I could put they make lids for these, and I could put a lid on this.
It's basically a paint can.
I could store this. I would probably put it in my refrigerator if I was going to come back and do more coats the next day. This is okay. If paint dries in this little tiny tip right here, good luck. You could soak it.
Oh, it's such a pain.
It's metal, so you could soak it, but it's so tiny. There's no brush or anything you're going to get in there. You're going to have to try to uncrust it.
All right, you're killing my arms.
Don't let it get crusted is the key. You want me to come down?
Yeah. So again, you can take the tip off of it and just clean the tip out and be fine. As long, leave it closed.
The parts of the tip are, and these do come out of the gun, but this is the needle. So the needle, and then this is the tip of it. These you do not want to let paint get crusted on the needle and the tip. Those are the most precision parts of the gun. So think about how long it takes for your product to dry. That's how long you have until you want to get it out of your gun. If your gun's not in use, in between coats, I mean, if it's just, the coats are so light, I usually can spray 2 coats in a matter of an hour. I won't clean the gun out in between those, but no more than that.
Yeah.
2.
Well, I mean, again, you're gonna. Well, I hate to say it, but if you're testing it,
if really you have to ask, you're probably going to find out the hard way at least once. And then...
But if that's the case, I mean, the worst
But
case
it's not that
scenario
big of a
is
deal.
This is the metal part, you just let it soak in water, and then you can use your scrub brush to scrub it out.
They even come with little fine, like little needles that you can poke through the tips.
I have a cleaning kit for the Apollo.
Yeah.
I'd go dig it out, but I'm running out of time already. So it does come with a cleaning kit, and there are things that you can put inside there. You don't want to also be aggressive with this because it's a precision part. You don't want to shove like something metal inside there because you can alter the shape of the tip and then your spray is going to be messed up. So just take care of your gun. That's it. I mean, what I did there took, what, 10 minutes? It doesn't take a whole lot of time, and I didn't waste a lot of product. The biggest waste I had was what was on this hose, which this hose does come off. It's yeah, so I can just, that had the most paint on it of any part of the gun. The tip hardly had any paint on it. So even just make sure that you're getting the tip clean. I mean, this is a pretty non-precision part right here.
PSA.
Yeah. So, all right, was that somewhat helpful, you guys? But like I said in the beginning, the main thing that I can say as far as sprayers go is you get what you pay for. If you're buying a $100 sprayer, it's a $100 sprayer. It's not going to be like the Cadillac of sprayers. This sprayer runs in the $600 to $800 range. They have higher models that go up to the $1,000 to $1,200 range. So, you know, I would say in that range, $600 to $800 is where you start getting really nice, you know, maybe $500 to $800 you can get a really nice sprayer for.
So you don't have to keep looking at me.
Yeah. Or you just use a pneumatic system if you've already got a compressor.
No, I think it was Jill that asked, can you just put water in the bottle and run it through?
Yes.
In theory, yeah, you could.
You can. You have to, I would have to hook it back up to the turbine. So I took that hose off so it's not attached to the engine. The turbine is what pressures the air and it comes through the hose and powers the gun. So I would have to go turn my turbine back on, have water inside, and I could spray it with water to clean that out too.
You just, no matter what, you're going to have to take the tip off and at least mess with the tip.
Yeah. The other thing is Sean added this at one point, but he added some plumber's tape around my gun just because it had the air was escaping a little bit. It wasn't on tight enough. So that's an option if you have an air leak somewhere. Just because mine's a couple years old. Yeah,
it came with a neoprene gasket, but
so this right here that I was playing with as I was spraying, this is how much I can see. It moves the needle,
the flow,
tighter into the body. So that's what I'm doing. I'm either making that mist finer because it's tightening up that connection, or when I back it out, I'm opening it up so it gets more pressure from there.
Oh man, Deborah, confidence, the only way you're going to get your confidence is truly spraying. It's like, literally jumping in the pool.
Like
don't
painting.
dabble.
How about your first piece of furniture that you ever painted with a brush? You were nervous, you were a little scared, you got some brush strokes, how do I get it smooth?
Hey, go buy yourself a fridge and use the cardboard from the fridge.
You screwed it up.
Just grab some
cardboard. That's why you practice with water, and then like I said, when you start and you want to put paint in your gun for the first time, just use really cheap paint on a super junky piece of furniture that you don't really care about, and you'll get a feel for it really fast. You know, you'll figure out things like I'm getting an orange peel texture. It means a couple things. It either means you need to adjust the pressure on your gun, or it means your paint is too thick, and then you either need to water it down a little bit. If you spray the same products over and over again, you want the same consistency all the time. It's closer to the consistency of clear coat is what you want. Whereas paint is thicker, you want closer to the consistency of clear coat.
I was thinking almost like a little thicker, like a cream, like
half and half.
Yeah, when I get technical, almost like milk. Like when it pours in the strainer, it shouldn't go straight through it.
Yeah, it's not
but it
water.
should, you know, within a couple of seconds, you should be able to empty out whatever you just poured in. Like it should go pretty quick. It's tough to tell you on camera.
And then you start to learn to eyeball that consistency. The 1 hour enamel is nice because it has pretty much that consistency right out of the container.
There you go, Fireball June. Free sheets of cardboard at Costco.
Yes.
The pallet board.
Have those big pallet boards. My kids actually love those for craft projects.
I always get stacks.
They try to bring them home for craft projects.
Because they end up all over the place.
Yeah, and then I end up throwing them away. But I don't feel bad because it was free.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. So I hope that was helpful. That was just I mean, I could go on this topic for another hour because there's a lot to it. But that's just the gist of prepping your space, getting your piece ready. the actual movement of the gun and actually putting the paint on is the fastest part, and then cleaning out your gun and taking care of your gun.
So here's the question that you're going to easily answer. Do you prefer to spray or do you prefer to brush?
Well, I prefer to brush because I like the artistic aspect of brushing the finishes. I said in the beginning, the things that I always usually spray are metallics because there's nothing like a sprayed metallic. They're light reflective and you want to get that coat as perfect as possible. So I spray metallics, clear coats, because a smooth, perfect clear coat, it gives it a professional look, and I can put that over all my multicolored finishes and it looks great. Solid single color finishes, but I can't even remember the last time I did a solid single color finish. These pieces I'm doing right now are one example. What else did I say? High gloss.
Yes.
If you're doing high gloss, I really think high gloss has to be sprayed because, again, it's that light reflectiveness of the gloss. It's going to show every flaw. So those are what I like to spray. I don't do a whole lot of those. So usually it's just clear coat that I'm spraying. But again, it's totally worth it because the amount of pieces I'm doing, this is an investment in my business. This was an investment in my business. It will last years. It speeds up my process and the quality of my products are so much better because of it. So that I think of this as an investment.
Well, because I also see it, you can use that for so many different things. That's what I like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't put paint through here a whole lot. It's usually clear coats that are going through here. I already said to you guys, but I brushed my primer.
You want to paint a car?
No, don't paint a car. That car did not come out good. Sean painted a car before. It didn't come out good. But we've been watching a series on Netflix, and they paint cars with just a Harbor Freight gun attached to a compressor. Harbor Freight guns are like $15, but the key is in the compressor. We have Harbor Freight guns.
Well, I was just going to show, I mean, there's variations.
They're tiny. They're tiny.
Like an airbrush gun.
Yeah, they're like airbrush size guns that you can get from Harbor Freight. All right, was that pretty much? Yeah, this is going to take too long.
Yeah.
Anyway. So
Anywho.
Those are a few options. This is just one option. This is just the Apollo, but it's a really nice machine because the turbine is so portable. It's super easy to use.
You can transport that thing anywhere.
Yeah, if you're doing kitchens, if you decide to take this up and do it as a business, it's something you can take to your client's house and spray their base cabinets on site.
And Sheila, you were wondering how long my hose is. It's about 20 feet.
Is that just the tip or? Yeah, okay. All right, you guys, so that was really long. I actually need to finish spraying these pieces now, but I'm going to pop off. I hope that was helpful. We finally got to spray on camera. I'm also going to be doing the base of this cabinet here, and I'll be showing the process. I'm basically going to treat this like a mini kitchen. I'm going to show the process that I would use to do a kitchen. So that's what I'm doing with this base cabinet here. I'm also going to do it in Wisel 1 Hour Enamel because that is what I would use if I was doing a kitchen right now. I love the product. It's an all-in-one paint that genuinely does not need to be top coated. Most of the all-in-one paints out there say they don't need to, but they come to kind of a matte finish. The 1 Hour Enamel dries to a satin finish. And so it's wipeable. It still has a clear coat that you can put over top if you chose to. So it's a really, really nice product, what I would genuinely use on a kitchen.
Sherry had a really important question. Really important. Are there going to be more tips, maybe tricks over there on Spray by Sean? I think the tip is just go like it and walk away from it.
He does need to. I tell him every time he's taking one of my pieces out and spraying it, just put the camera on and like people would watch it because he does. I mean, he sprays most of my pieces for me. So I agree. He does need some activity on there and it would probably grow. So, all right, guys.
I like you looking up. It's like an 80s.
Is it?
Yeah, you need some laser beams in the back. Yes. Deep thoughts.
All right, I'm going to pop off. You guys have a great weekend. I hope that was helpful. I feel like it was a lot of information, so I hope everyone's not overwhelmed. Thank you so much for hanging out, and I'll catch you guys next Thursday.